Hey, it's Michael Saul, also known as Tiny, with the market video for the week of September 9th, 2013. Hope everybody had a great week last week. So, last week was a holiday shortened week. It was Labor Day, and you could see we bounced up a bit, and the broad market hit into the 50-day moving average. So, what does this mean? Well, we're still in the pullback from the highs here, and I have been watching for more downside, and so far we have not gotten that. So, I've been wrong here so far, but we haven't been screaming to the upside either. So, these are the levels that I'm watching for on the SPY. First, I want to get above the 50-day moving average. Then I want to get above this swing high, and then I want to get this gap filled. From there, we have a kind of decent shot to get to highs, but I mean, not a lock. Obviously, there is no such thing as a lock in the market, and it's not even just filling the gap isn't really enough. We'd have to really get above this candle here to have good odds to test the highs here. So, that's the broad market. It doesn't look like a lot of downside damage was done. We went to the 50% mark of this last swing up. I wasn't looking for us to top out. I was just looking for us to go lower before we actually got a good bounce to sink our teeth into. And that could still be the case here because we really haven't had a great bounce so far. Now, the Dow still looks weak. It's a different situation. It's not slamming into the 50-day. It's only getting to the 20 EMA here. The Russell looks a little bit better than the S&P 500, not much better. And the NASDAQ, well, the NASDAQ hit yet another new high, but then pulled back to close back within whatever this congestion is. So my question on the short term is this going to lead to a launching pad to new highs that actually stick on the NASDAQ, a nice extension here? And if that's the case, is that going to be enough to drag the broad market up? Well, I think if the NASDAQ does happen to pop from here, I do believe that the S&P will follow as well. The NASDAQ does have a leading characteristic to it. It's not like the Dow, which really doesn't lead. So if the S&P, that can lead, the NASDAQ can lead. So if the NASDAQ does take off from here, the SPY should get going. All right, but if it doesn't, it's just another reason why I think that the S&P 500 may wind up rolling over and hitting a new relative low at least, if not more, before it can get a nice solid bounce. I really don't like looking out much further than the coming week. I really like taking it hour by hour, but of course I'll look at day-to-day stuff with the daily email or the newsletter, but I don't know how deep of a pullback we're going to get this year because the way we've been trading does set up for a good chance that we rally into the end of the year or at least make a new high before the end of the year. But of course, I mean, it's certainly not enough with the short-term volatility that we're experiencing due to the situation in Syria. Now they're talking about the next Fed meeting being very important because of the taper. It's not enough to just guess and go, all right, let's just get positioned for another run to the highs. For the last couple of weeks, I wasn't anywhere close to that bullish. I'm still not. As long as we're under that 50-day moving average, I still take a neutral stance. But, it's looking now that perhaps these two little rounded swing points, maybe that's a sign that, hey, they're not ready to go down so fast. So I'm in more wait and see than anything. And another push down, another corrective move down would not surprise me here. And like I said, I'm really not going to get full-on bullish till we're at least above the 50-day and more than likely above this candle right here, which would fill the gap and, like I said, suggest we go to the highs. Okay, so for this week, I'm going to just see how we act around this point here, and I'm going to be sensitive to the news coming out of, the plans about Syria because, the market seems to definitely be holding on that. Friday there was news that Iran threatened that the U.S. would suffer if they intervene in Syria, and that spooked the market. And then there's all this stuff going on with Russian President Putin, whether he's against it or he doesn't care or whatever it is. So there are a lot of things that can still give the market gyrations here, and that's just in Syria, right? There's a lot of things just having to do with the conflict in Syria that can give us gyrations. Never mind everything else, and of course whatever new decides to pop its head up. So that's it. Feel free to contact me, tiny@stockmarkettrendsex.com, and you can always catch my daily commentary through the daily email or in the newsletter, which is still free for now. Otherwise, I will talk to you in next week's video. Have a great trading week.